Hello and welcome to our first Behind the Paper video of the Institute of Science Education at Leibniz University Hanover. I'm Simon Blauza and I'm the first author of the paper Psychological Distance Towards COVID-19, which now was published in the journal Current Psychology. In this video, we want to give you a small peek into the study and explain the background, the main results and the most important implications of our work. We all are concerned by different biological topics, but we rarely experience them directly. For example, even if we face severe consequences of climate change, we cannot see the climate directly. The COVID-19 pandemic was different as it strongly affected our lives. However, some people perceived the pandemic more close than others, for example, if they had more cases in their district or even in their own family. Within the paper, which was part of my bachelor thesis in 2020, we therefore decided to apply the construct of psychological distance to understand the closeness of people towards the pandemic and investigate its connections with attitudes toward COVID-19. Psychological distance describes the closeness towards issues in 4 dimensions: geographical, social, temporal and hypothetical distance. This means someone feels close to an issue if they believe the issue is directly in the geographical surrounding, happens to them personally, in the immediate time frame and is likely to happen at all. Our study had 3 major results. First of all, we found that for COVID-19 geographical distance was connected to more positive attitudes and behavior. So if you feel COVID-19 is happening close to you, you also believe the containment measures are right. Besides this, hypothetical distance was connected to the attitudes, but also the installation of a corona warning app. As a next major result, we investigated the factors which affected the geographical and hypothetical distance and found different variables such as cases in the social surrounding were important. But only knowledge was connected to both dimensions of psychological distance. Given this connection with knowledge, we finally investigated if psychological distance affected the connection of knowledge and attitudes. We then found that psychological distance is a mediator of this effect, which means that only then knowledge leads to more positive attitudes if you feel connected to the issue.
My name is Alexander Büssing and I'm the senior author of the paper. I was happy when Simon joined our group and said he was interested in psychological distance because we did already some studies on psychological distance and the perception of biological topics, but not yet about COVID-19. In line with the results from other studies, we found how a smaller psychological distance generally is connected to more positive attitudes, which was the same connection as for other topics such as climate change. Besides being one of the few studies about the psychological distance towards COVID-19, we were also able to deeper investigate the role of the different dimensions. Generally, especially the role of geographical distance is interesting. As with COVID-19, pandemics are global and may spread very quickly from far away to the immediate closeness. This is ambivalent because, of course, there's a need to not get stressed about everything that might be happening on the other side of the planet. But to be really powerful in acting in such challenges, we need to transcend this effect of geographical distance. This is why it is important to clearly communicate the risks of diseases such as COVID-19. For this purpose, especially the hypothetical distance is important. Besides these implications for health behavior, for me as a science educator, especially the mediation of knowledge on attitudes by the different dimensions of psychological distance was important. This means it may be likely to assume that the same knowledge may have different effects between persons if they differ in their perceived closeness towards the issue. If we think about other biological topics, such as climate change or returning wolves as a topic for biodiversity, it may be worthwhile to further investigate the effects also in formal and informal learning situations. Therefore, we plan to do further studies about this and also investigate if a smaller psychological distance may be connected to more interest about a topic or differences in argumentation. If you want to know more about the role of psychological distance towards COVID-19, read the paper in the journal Current Psychology or find other papers about psychological distance on our homepage or on ResearchGate. If you have comments or questions about the paper or the construct of psychological distance, feel free to comment, and probably the next Behind the Paper video is about a question you posted here under this video. Thank you.